Hey guys, Darren Asbury again with Revital Outdoors, bringing you another exciting podcast. Tonight we're going back to the state of Arkansas. We have Mr. Jamey Black, an absolute legend in the state of Arkansas, going to be with us this evening talking about his second place finish last year on Lake Ouachita for the BFL Arkie Division tournament. He finished second place to Mr. Chris Darby. We've already talked to him, so we're very excited to keep this train rolling with the top five from last year on Lake Ouachita. We're going to bring him in just a minute. Real quick, if you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel. This will notify you when all of our podcasts are dropping. We have a lot of podcasts that we've already published and a lot more planned for the future, talking to all the BFL anglers and then the guys that are winning tournaments this year as well. So we're doing pre- and post-tournament podcasts. We're very excited for that. If you've never heard of Revital Outdoors, we're a premium CBD company. We're THC-free, made right here in America. All of our products are great for all outdoor enthusiasts, whether it be hunting or fishing enthusiasts. That's what our products are great for. We're also accepting Pro Staff daily. So check out our website, fill out that Pro Staff application on our Pro Staff tab, and then also follow us on social media. That's going to be Facebook and Instagram. Now, without further ado, let's bring him in, my good buddy, Jamey Black from the state of Arkansas. Jamey, how you doing this evening, bud?
How's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. So, well, the first thing that comes to mind and that I see is you've got a lot of history in the state of Arkansas, and we can see that from behind you.
Yes, sir. Like I told you just a minute ago, I've been probably since the early 2000s. I mean, I have fished bass clubs in the 90s when I was in my 20s, I won a bass club tournament when I was with my dad, probably when I was 13 or 14, So, I mean, I'm 51 now, so however that math adds up. But I really got my first good bass boat around 2003 and started fishing the BFLs, and I'd fished some team trail stuff before that. And when I was coming up in the team trail stuff, you had Mark Davis, David Ashcraft, Ron Sheffield, all those legends were still fishing local. They ain't gone pro yet, So that's how
Jeremiah Candide, Brad Snodgrass, all those guys.
Scott Suggs, Jeremiah. I mean, there's so many. I'm probably leaving a bunch off. Johnny Roughton, he was a stick around here forever.
Right.
But.
Well, I definitely have to say I put your name as within the legends of Arkansas. I know you have never branched out into that pro status, but I mean, you fished a lot of Toyota Series, you fished Opens, you fished them all, and you're just a hammer.
I've fished a lot of stuff around here, but I haven't ventured out. I fished one. There was a FLW Everstart Series or whatever it used to be called on Ouachita one year, and I jumped in that. And I would have done well. I was in a pretty good standing after the first day. It was a sight fishing event. And my lower unit went out running back to the weigh-in. So I didn't make my time and didn't get weight for the second day. So that was pretty cool.
As crazy as this sounds, that was the first time I ever met you. That was in 2010. It was on Lake Ouachita. Boy from Kentucky won it, sight fishing with a robo worm on a drop shot. Stetson Blaylock was in second. Well, finished second that event.
I wouldn't have won or anything, but I would have been top 20, top 15 for sure. I had 13 something pounds the first day, something like that.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
I had that much more in my live well. I didn't get to weigh in.
Yeah, I got you. So yeah, that was a fun event. It's been a few years back, but definitely a fun event in Arkansas. So last year, looking at Lake Ouachita, I know that you and Lake Ouachita and Lake Hamilton get along very, very well. Probably, I would say you're one of the best hammers to ever fish Lake Ouachita. You just know it inside and out. And you got second place last year. Talk to us about your history on Lake Ouachita. Why does it set up so well for you in the wintertime pre-spawn? Man, why are you so damn good on Ouachita this time of year?
Well, I can zero with the best of them or have a bad tournament with the best of them too now. So let's get too carried away. But I guess mainly just because as much time as I've put in, I've fished that lake from the dam where they intake water all the way up to the far as you can float your boat in every river on that lake. So, I mean, it's really crazy. I mean, the river fishing, the Ouachita is just so big, so you can really do whatever you want to do, So if you want to go crank up in the river, fish some dingy water, you've got South Fork, you got the Ouachita River, you got Iron Forks. You can even go in the very back of the Blakeley's, and it starts getting a little color sometimes. So just depends on the amount of rain we get, So you can go up there, and get on a crank or a jig bite or, a rig bite or something like that. Or you can fish super clear water on the lower end and throw a rig or herring. I'll make hair jigs. They're really good this time of year. Or there's grass, if you're in the grass is really a big issue because it used to be so good. The whole lake was full of coontail. It actually grew up into the rivers, into the dingy water. And that was insane this time of year. There's some other fishermen that kind of brought that to light with a rattle trap. They're a little older than me, but when early in the year, you could run up in the rivers like this time of year and just burn a trap, and the inside edge of the grass would be like 3 or 4 foot deep, and you'd tick that inside edge, and they just knock the rod out of your hand. But there's no grass up there anymore. But there's still grass in parts of the lake, So if you want to fish grass, you can find it. It's mostly mid-lake and around between Brady up in Rabbit, Crystal, not Crystal. Well, there's a little bit of grass Crystal. The Blakely's, Cedarfush, kind of where the grass is right now.
Okay. So is that what you kind of target right now? Is some of the deeper fish around the grass and the timber?
Really, it just kind of depends on the weather. If it's like a bluebird slick post front day, I may lean toward going up in the stained water and cranking or throwing a trap or something up there. But you really need a little bit of wind for those clear water fish to fire on a trap or a crankbait or whatever. But typically most of the tournaments are going to be one in the mid-lake area, So I'll usually end up in that area, just because I know the potential there is always there to win. So that's where last year I ended up. I was in that area,
Okay, so fishing relatively deeper, I'm talking 10 to 20 feet, or maybe were you going deeper than that?
No. Last year, I started out cranking and cranking like some bluffy stuff. And
okay.
Let's see, I was in Cedarfush and in there, and I didn't have very much at all. I had a terrible morning. I had like 2 little fish, like at noon or something, and I've got some spots, just from years of doing this, that the big females will pull up. It's weird because you'll either catch big females or nothing, and then the big females will be gone, and you'll start catching 1 and 2 pounders. It's like I don't know what they do. I hadn't figured it out yet, but I pulled in, and I guess I either had 3. I don't remember if I had 3 or 2, but I caught 2 big ones on the trap, like between noon and 3 o'clock. And my co-angler caught one, which he didn't do anything. He was just fishing. And if I'd had that one, he had about a 4-something pounder. If I'd had that one, I would have won pretty handily last year. But that's the way it goes, But yeah, so it was a trap deal for me last year to get those 2 big bites, one at 6 and a heavy 5, I think. 2
right.
big ones.
And were those fish pre-spawn, or were they still holding to the winter pattern? They were just up shallow.
Yeah, no, they're full of eggs, both of them. Yeah.
Were they? Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
they just pull up. I don't know if they just pull up to get some sun up shallow and they drop back in those ditches or creeks or what. I don't know.
I got you. So were you seeing them on your electronics, or were you just running history and you just ran into them?
No, I didn't see those on live scope or anything. Just bombing a trap out far as you could and kind of yo-yoing it out of the grass, and they just snatch the rod out of your hand. And if you just look on your yo-yoing it like that, you rip it and they'll hit it on the fall and slack line it.
Okay. Were you catching? Did you catch a lot of fish? Like, did you cull throughout the day, or did you just
No,
pretty much catch those 5 and that's what they weighed?
I may have caught 6 keepers or something, but it wasn't much more than that. It was a pretty tough day. I got fortunate to catch 2 good kicker fish.
That's one thing I know about you, Jamey, is you don't necessarily go after the numbers. You're a
No,
quality guy, especially like when I used to see you fish Lake Gray a lot, and you're a 100%. I'm going after the 5 bites I need, and that's what I'm going to have.
yeah, which it can result in some bad tournaments every now and then. Everybody says fishing to win. That's kind of a cliche or whatever, but you have to around here with these guys. And geez, I mean, you just start naming names, and I mean, you can fill up the top 30 pretty quick. Just naming names around here. So
Oh,
you
it
don't catch
happens.
them, you'll get your feelings hurt around here pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean
So,
Chris Darby, Jeremiah
oh
Kendi,
Lord,
Ron, and Spencer Sheffield, Scott Suggs. Now we
yeah,
got Bo Browning, Stephen Browning's son coming up with the
oh yeah,
mix. Like
oh
unbelievable
yeah.
state for bass fishing. I mean,
Yeah,
just
there's a bunch of good young guys coming up. I'm happy to see it.
absolutely, I am too. It's great for the sport and everything. So, well, Jamey, I know you talked about throwing a trap. It's a little bit different bait than I figured you were going to talk about. I know you're known in the state of Arkansas, especially in 2011 when that Alabama rig was developed. You've got the Black's Widowmaker. So, talk to us a little bit about your bait company, a little bit, the baits that you make, and where we can find those. Because honestly, I think you have hands down one of the best Alabama rigs out there.
Well, thank you. Well, you can. I'm in most of the local tackle shops here in Central Arkansas, and I've got my website. It's just blackscustomlures.com. You can get all my stuff off there. I've got buzz bait coming out. I tried to bring it out last year, and the factory didn't make it quite right, so I wasn't going to sell it. But I should have it probably by the end of April, and so that's supposed to go on Tackle Warehouse. So I'm hoping that'll take off a little bit. There's been a lot of money, a lot of tournaments won on that buzz bait that probably hadn't heard a whole lot about, but I mean, there's been a few guys talk about it.
I'm fortunate enough I have one, but I'm not going to talk about it. We'll just leave that
that's
alone.
what most people do. But yeah, no, I do. I throw an A-rig. I throw an A-rig a lot. My brain is so bad at this point. I might have caught a couple on the A-rig in that BFL last year, but I don't remember. I know that I started out cranking. I want to say I caught one or two on a DT6. I may have caught one. If I weighed in an A-rig fish, it wasn't. It was just maybe one or something. But usually, I'm going to be throwing an A-rig. I'll have them on my deck. This time of year for sure. I'll have at least 2 of them, different variations of it.
Absolutely. So, well, any final thoughts before we wrap up on Lake Ouachita? What do you predict is going to happen this year? What kind of weights do you think we'll see? And do you think guys will be, fishing like with a crankbait? You think they'll be successful cranking like you did last year, or what's different between last year to this year?
Well, last year we had a bunch of rain, so we haven't had that this year. Like Hamilton, where we're fishing this weekend, is clear and pretty hard to get a bite right now over there. And but that helps, when you get a bunch of rain flushing in. It helps that it stirs stuff up in the river, as long as it's not a super freezing cold rain. If it's like a 50, 60 degree rain that you get and it flushes in those rivers and the back ends of creeks and stuff, that gets those fish moving in that direction this time of year. So, as far as Ouachita goes, I think it'll be an A-rig deal. It'll be one on a A-rig or football jig or something like that. And it depends on the weather. If we get a bunch of wind, I think trap will play pretty good. So, that's probably what right now I would lean A-rig, but I'd have to look at the weather that weekend to see what we're going to have.
So we're looking at a rig, possibly a trap. You said a crankbait. I know you mentioned the DT6. Do you ever throw that DT10 go a little bit deeper?
I really don't very much. I probably, I don't know. I probably should, but they just came out with a DT8 too. I hadn't got to experiment with that a whole lot, but usually on Ouachita, that 6 is hitting the grass just about right where there is grass, so it's usually what I end up throwing. And you can crank. You don't have to even be around grass with a DT6. You can walk rivers and crank bluffs or rock banks or whatever you want to crank with it, and just good bait. It just works everywhere. It's just really good on Ouachita. That the red crawdad, I think, is the color of it. I mean, that's just a good Ouachita color.
For sure. So, well, Jamey, it's been an honor having you on our podcast. You gave us a lot of great information. Good luck to you this year. Real quick before we get off, I just want to give you the opportunity to thank any of your friends, your family. I know you got some sponsors that support you in the state of Arkansas, so we just want to give you the opportunity to mention those folks.
Yeah. Well, mainly my family for putting up with me, for all this time. And, when you're a fisherman and you're going every weekend, your family kind of has to deal with that. And so I'm appreciative of that. And don't really have a lot of sponsors. I mean, I don't really, my bait company really pays for my fishing pretty much. That's kind of the whole reason I started it. It was just, hey, I'll do this and, get some entry fee money, and it's turned into a lot more than that. So, but, and then, I'd like to thank, all the bait companies or the tackle stores, local tackle stores, everybody that's carrying my product, sells my product for me. I appreciate that. And everybody, my customers. And I sell to people pretty much all over the United States. It's really crazy, I get orders from everywhere. So pretty happy about that.
I even ran into a few guys down here in Florida that were using another variation of buzzbait you do, and I recognized it. I'm like, where'd you get that? And they're like, oh, don't worry about it. I'm like, no, seriously, where'd you get that? And they said, oh, an old boy in Arkansas that makes them. I'm thinking, you've got to be kidding me, all the way down here in Florida.
There was actually a fellow that fished the Southern Open that bought some of my factory ones I didn't sell. They're still good to fish with. He bought 400 of them and gave them away as just a giveaway prize down there at the Southern Open to all the co-anglers. So that was pretty cool, I guess. So he got a lot of product in people's hands to try out. So
absolutely. So, well, Jamey, we appreciate you coming on board. I know you're going to have a great year in 2022. We hope to have you on here again soon, because that means you're being successful once again. As we can see on your back wall, you are very consistent in the state of Arkansas. So we wish you the best of luck this year, and we hope to talk to you again soon.
Well, thanks, Darren. You're doing a great job with this podcast. I watch every one of them. So,
well, I appreciate that. We're very excited to be on board and interview all these guys. It's been quite a treat for us to talk to all the BFL anglers. We truly consider the BFL anglers to be the best on the lakes, because they fish them every weekend. They cut their teeth on it. And I mean, I know you got a lot of professional anglers out there, and they're great, but sometimes, and especially in the state of Arkansas, you just can't beat the guys that are fishing locally.
Yeah, nothing against other states or fishermen. I know Texas has a lot of salty fishermen. These dudes in Arkansas, I'll put them up against anybody, anywhere, anytime, any place.
That's a fact. I do the same, especially when you think about lakes like Lake Ouachita. But I think the most notorious lake in the state of Arkansas that you just do not want to compete against the locals is Lake Dardanelle.
That's true. But they already know all the best spots, and then you're trespassing if you find one of them. I mean, that's one of the places I do not go up there at all. I don't go up there to fun fish. If I go up there, it's because I have a tournament and I have to go. That's the only reason. But,
well, it's not fun. That's the problem. You go up there with anticipation. You think it's great. And you think, oh, I can get on 15, 16 pounds. And then you go to weigh and it's like, okay.
Yeah, it can be tough at times. It's gotten my goat a few times.
So that's for sure. So, well, Jamey, thank you again for everything, and good luck to you this year, and all the anglers in the state of Arkansas fishing the BFL Arkie division. Good luck to all you all, and we hope you enjoyed this podcast. From all of us at Revital Outdoors, I'm Theron Asbury. You've been listening to Mr. Jamey Black. He got a top 5 finish, got second place actually last year for the BFL tournament on Lake Ouachita. So we wish you the best of luck this year. Be sure to subscribe to that our YouTube page if you haven't already, and follow us on social media. Again, we're a premium CBD company giving back to the outdoor industry, and we're very proud to do it. So until the next time, God bless, be safe out there, and we will talk to you soon.